YouTube, what is up? James Biggie here, and if you watched my last week's video, the first episode of Unpopular Opinions, you will have seen that my first unpopular opinion on this channel is that Eminem is overrated as an MC and as a rapper. I got some good feedback on that video, had some good conversation with some people who very, very passionately disagreed with me, and that was the intent of the whole thing. That being said, I wanted to do a video that was sort of the opposite in nature, where I want to talk about a rap duo that is severely underrated. And if you watch this channel at all, you will notice I wear a lot of Atmosphere t-shirts. And Atmosphere is a rap duo out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, the sort of flagship group of Rhymesayers Entertainment that consists of a rapper and a producer, Slug and Ant, respectively. Atmosphere has been around for a long time, since the mid-90s, and has gained a lot of respect and a lot of traction in the underground and have a massive, massive following. So in that sense, they're kind of not underrated and have made a huge impact on hip-hop, right? The way I consider them underrated is by the amount of people that I run into that listen to hip-hop and listen to rap that don't fuck with Atmosphere or haven't heard of Atmosphere, or maybe have heard the name but haven't listened themselves. To me, that is absurd and ridiculous, and I understand that there is a barrier between underground music and the public and the general audience of that music, and I get that, and maybe some people don't want to delve deeper to search out and find music. And I've always been the sort of dude that does, whether it be metal or punk or hardcore or hip-hop or whatever. I've always searched out something off the beaten path. Atmosphere has come close to being on the beaten path. They've been turning down offers from major labels for years and years and years in favor of doing their own thing. Now they have some major distribution on Rhymesayers Entertainment, but it's not quite the same. However, we are sort of in the streaming era, in the era of record sales not really mattering, not being a thing so much, where streams matter and singles more than albums matter. And I feel like in that way, Atmosphere has the ability to kind of make it even bigger than they already have, because of the ability that Slug and Ant have to make very accessible, very, like, really just bangers, right? Really good kind of club songs if they'd want to. Although they don't really make club songs per se, there are some songs that would absolutely be a radio single, especially in a world where everything you hear on the radio has some sort of an indie sensibility to an extent. That being said, like, from the very beginning of their career, if you listen to their very first album, Overcast, all the way through to their most current stuff, Fishing Blues, you could see a growth of Slug as a lyricist and as a writer. Back in the day, he was very conscious and had a very, very interesting take on things, but it was more about being a rapper in his early 20s and partying and hanging out with women, and always had a very good sense of metaphor and always could twist words and utilize words to get his point across better than a lot of people. But then moving on through their current stuff, it's grown. And through the middle part of it, it got a little more political. Not political in like a Public Enemy or an Immortal Technique sort of sense, but political in its own right. And then, toward their later stuff, they've kind of coined the term dad rap. Slug himself is, toward his 40s now, or upper 30s, and has kind of more, the subject matter of their songs kind of talks about being a dad and being on the road and balancing that with being a father and handling his stuff in his life now. It's not all about the money of the girls, the tour, being a rapper in general. It's about him, and he sings or raps a lot about his hometown in Minneapolis, and he always has. And it's always made me, as a dude here in Florida, kind of wish I had that community. And I understand, like, you gotta build in your area or whatever, build up your city and shit, but, like, my city's not a city at all. It's very small, a lot of old people, not much of a scene happening, and unfortunately, I can't rap. I would love to rap, I could write, my tongue doesn't work over words the way that skilled MCs can. So, I've always wanted what they had in Minneapolis. I've always envied that. I've always wanted to be a part of the Minneapolis scene, in that, like, living there and being around it and going to, like, First Avenue and stuff and seeing those shows live would have been great. Would have been really cool to me. So I live vicariously down here in Florida through that. Atmosphere has to be my favorite rap duo. Slug is my favorite MC. Ants Production's amazing. They involve a lot of other instruments in their music, especially lately. For a while there, they were touring with a full band. So it's a very unique thing they bring to hip-hop, and I feel very underrated. When people talk about dudes like Eminem as the greatest of all time, I just feel like it's the underground sort of reach that is slightly more limited that keeps Slug out of those conversations. So that being said, Atmosphere being my favorite rap group, Slug being my favorite rapper, check them out. If you haven't, seriously, what are you doing? There's a catalog of, I believe, 8 or 9 studio albums now, and all sorts of EPs, everything from, like, really just great bangers to really deep, emotionally written, well thought out, well put together songs, and everything in between. If you're looking for something more serious, check out If Life Gives You Lemons, Paint That Shit Gold. If you're looking for something more fun or whatever, any of their Sad Clown Bad Dub EPs have all that sort of stuff. That's kind of where they're like, where the hits would be if they had like mainstream radio hits. The songs like Sunshine and stuff like that, Happy Mess, would absolutely be massive, massive platinum selling hits. Had they decided to break out from the underground. And I absolutely believe it's their decision. And I think they kept it where they kept it for a reason. They built it up themselves, and they don't have to answer to any major label or to any huge distribution or to anybody but themselves. And they put on a lot of their friends. A lot of the rappers on Rhymesayers are phenomenal. Most of them, even. There's actually, I can't name one or two that I don't think are at least talented, even if I don't fuck with them that much. So, that being said, what are some rappers that you feel are overrated, or that you feel don't quite have the hype they deserve? There's plenty of others that I could talk about now, but I just want to talk about Atmosphere, because they stand head and shoulders above the rest for me personally. So definitely comment down below, let me know what your favorite Atmosphere jam is, what your favorite rapper is that nobody's talking about, anything along those lines, and I will absolutely get back to you. Check out a couple of my other videos here I will have links to, and then click on my face up here to subscribe if you're interested in more content like this. It's not all about rap and hip-hop and music in general, it's just been a lot about music lately. But I got all sorts of other stuff on here, from me just ranting about silly shit to me getting serious about my own life and stuff. So I appreciate it. Click my face up here, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.